With all the noise in the financial world, banks collapsing, Wall Street swinging up and down, governments overreaching, it's no wonder that people feel overwhelmed, anxious, and like they're last in line for their own money. But what if I told you all of that noise is actually the opportunity? Over the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to quiet that noise. We're going to walk through the real reason most people feel stuck financially and how to interrupt those patterns. I'll show you the 5 stages of becoming your own banker through the infinite banking concept and how to design a life that's built on clarity, cash flow, guarantees, and control. You're going to leave this training not just with the knowledge, but with a new lens to view money, decisions, and direction. You'll see the path forward. And most importantly, you'll see that it's available starting today. You guys ready to step into the tunnel, go through it, and come out the other side with clarity? Let's get going. So, the truth about your patterns. This is a quote we have hanging in our house and in our bedrooms. Our beliefs become our thoughts. Our thoughts become our words. Our words become our actions. Your actions become your habits, and your habits become your values. The values you create become your destiny. That quote sums up all of personal development in my mind, because it starts with what is in between our ears. What do we believe? What do we believe not only for ourselves, about our world, about our money, about our relationship, and what are the words that make our world that follow the thought? They all link one after the other. And the more repetitions we get in with something that is supporting us, building us up, filling us with life, of course, the more success in our own terms and what we want, how we measure success becomes our reality. And so the first part about changing a pattern, about understanding what's happening with our finances, is recognizing the patterns. Once we recognize the patterns, we can interrupt them. We can break them. We can stop them. We can change them. You can swing 180 degrees like this. There's folks on this call who they've changed their entire financial thought process within a few months. Multiple people on this call listening right now. So it is possible. But how willing are you to make a change, to leave something that's known? Maybe it's not comfortable, but known means that it's not new and it's not so scary. So then once you are willing to challenge your status quo, change and disrupt the pattern, next is systems and processes. How do you build, like Gandhi's words, the systems and processes where your actions, your beliefs that lead to your actions, that lead to your habits, that lead to your values, that's what's going to become your destiny. And that's not an overnight change. Remember, the first principle of all this is think long term. So if we're tying all that together, if we've interrupted a pattern by recognizing it, we've set up a system, now we've installed a new pattern and we've interrupted it, it takes time. And one of the things I hear the most with folks who have just started is, okay, Jason, I've got my infinite banking policy set up. What do I do? And I'm always confused because there was a strategy call, there was a conversation where we tied your big future vision 10, 20, 30, 50 years down the line and brought it back to today. And sometimes it doesn't require you doing anything, is what I'm going to show you today. Sometimes action might be the enemy. Once it's set up, once you've interrupted a pattern, because there's only one thing you need to do first, is really loving yourself more. Taking better care of yourself on all levels, financially, spiritually, with your health, with your relationships, with your goals, with everything that you dream of, like the wheel of life that we trained on a couple weeks ago. And so I wrote this a few minutes ago. You're not bad with money. That is not a reality. You were actually trained to give up control of your money. You were told that, hey, you have to assume all the risk. And when you assume all the risk, what's that going to lead to? All of a sudden, even if you don't understand the game you're playing, it's going to start feeling really uncomfortable. It's going to start feeling really scary. And it's going to start feeling like there's no control. I don't know if it's going to work out. I'm hoping it's going to work out. I'm going to keep putting my best foot forward. And that hope's not a plan. And so I want you all to start with this and say this with me because that leaves you to confusion. So to empower you to break that myth, say it. I'm in control of my money. I love money and money loves me. Money is a tool to build my dreams. Again, I'm in control of my money. I've worked hard for it. I'm going to control it because I love money and money flows in waves of abundance to me. Money is nothing more than a tool, and it's a tool to build my dreams. Do you feel a shift? If you've said it out loud, it doesn't matter if you look silly. If you're driving down the road, wave your hands or just think you're singing, but say, I'm in control of my money. My money is the tool that empowers my future. My money is the tool that I welcome into my family. I welcome conversation around money. How's that feel? Does that feel different? Pop it in the chat if that feels different. And this is why the infinite banking concept, the first word is what? Infinite. Remember the symbol for infinity? It means there are no limits. Now, that might not seem like your current reality, but when I show you what it looks like on the other side, you're going to start seeing the plan for the rest of your whole life. Because guess what? We're here in 2025, but way in the future, you will all still be practicing what we're talking about today. So this pattern interrupt is a tunnel, a way out of the noise, a way out of what we've been groomed, what we've been taught, and how things shift when we start understanding the game we're playing. So let's picture this. I mentioned this prior, but this is a little bit different take on. Let's picture the world being noisy, what you've seen with finances. Imagine the commercials on TV, the commercials you hear on the radio, the billboards you see, the mailers that you're getting on a daily, constant basis. It's chaotic. Everyone has a plan for you. Everyone has the next thing that's going to make you get rich quick. Everyone has a plan that's going to help you climb out of debt. They have a system that's going to help you track it, but it only costs a couple $1,000s. It only costs $9.99. Well, as you're seeing all this noise, as you're bombarded, as you're feeling out of control and uncomfortable, you picture a tunnel and you see something different. You see something that just feels like truth to you. It resonates deeply and it has you go into the tunnel. And the deeper you go into the tunnel, the more you can feel the noise trying to pull you back. You can feel the people behind you yelling, hey, Shane, hey, Sean, hey, Dexter, hey, Alejandro, hey, Dwayne, hey, Kim, what are you doing? You can't do that. But the further you step forward, the further your confidence rises, the more you believe that there's something better ahead. And it's a long tunnel. You're educating yourself. You're starting to really focus. Think of those moments of flow when you're so focused and you're connected to creation and to universal intelligence and you're just flowing. It's coming out and oh my gosh, I'm seeing the possibilities. It's so exciting. I wish I would have learned about this so long ago. So you keep going forward. Maybe at some point you start running towards the light at the end of the tunnel. You start getting really excited. You start sprinting as fast as you can. And you come out the other side and you're like, yes, I did it. Now what? Well, now when you step out of the tunnel into the light, everything's possible. You have just reached a new world for you. You've just reached something that is available to most and used by few. And you're ready to step forward into that light, into that truth. And it's not flashy. It's not even sexy. It's actually quite boring. It's something that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, but now you're like, oh my gosh, I've got my specially designed for me from a mutually owned dividend paying company that's been profitable for over a 100-year policy. Now, what do I do? Whether you're solving for debt, whether you're getting ready to make a major capital purchase, whether you're getting ready to put your money to work, whether you're just creating a legacy, maybe you're trying to do all of those things at once. Maybe that's part of the problem is you're wanting to do everything immediately. Maybe celebrating that moment and saying, okay, I am paying myself first. That is the most foundational element of building wealth and building financial freedom. I'll say it again. Paying yourself first is the foundation. And you don't even need infinite banking. I know folks who don't practice what I am teaching, what I believe in with all my heart and soul, and they're still financially secure because they are paying themselves first. Not all of the wealthiest use this. I don't know why they don't. It seems kind of crazy to me. Maybe they think it's complicated. But those that are practicing know that it is not. I know that it's not. I did a loan and a policy payment and a loan repayment all within 15 minutes on multiple policies this week. It's not complicated. And so before I jump too far into this, think of Matthew 7:24. And there's different versions of this, but the wise and the foolish builders. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall because it had a foundation built on rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. What does that remind you of? Does that not sound like the quote that the problem in America isn't what people don't know, it's what people think they know that just ain't so? Why are we always last in line for our money? Well, now when you're practicing, you're no longer last in line. So let's talk about the first phase. Let's talk about phase one. You've come out of the tunnel, you're in the light, and now we're going to build the opportunity fund. You're going to build something that's basic, just like martial arts, just like training earlier today. First, what do you have to do? Put in the chat. What do you have to do? You have to show up and step onto the mat. And then whatever the instructor says, you do. You do it to the best of your ability. Now, maybe, depending on what level of belt you are, you have a high level of capability, or you're just starting. It's unfamiliar. But as long as, like he said, like they're always telling us, just pretend you know what you're doing. As long as you're doing the things, doing the motions, going through everything, you're going to improve. And you build that habit by showing up, paying yourself first, and celebrating. High-fiving yourself. If you're saving $500 now, what does it look like if you save $550 next month? If that's 5% of your salary, what if you're saving 6% next month and then 7%? And slowly, because you have your vision, which we'll get to later, you know where you're going, you know where low value spending is going. And so now, where do you store the money you're saving? Without going into the whole T chart, if we look at banks and bank-owned life insurance, you guys know the answer. Most of you know the answer to this. Where do the banks store their money? Is it in their own system, their own super profitable business, by the way? Do they store their money there, or do they store it somewhere that is better, somewhere where it is safe, protected from attorneys, somewhere where it is guaranteed, growing tax-free away from Uncle Sam? Even though the banks and Uncle Sam kind of work hand in hand, guess what? The banks don't want Uncle Sam involved in their safe money and their tier one money. So they want what? They want predictability. They want control. They want tax-free growth. They want guaranteed growth, uninterrupted growth. They want protection against liens and judgment. They want liquidity, access to it. And oh, by the way, having some extra cash come in that's a multiple if, God forbid, one of their employees passes away. Well, that's just a cherry on top for them, isn't it? Oh, and in a stable environment. Don't forget that one. So, those facts alone, as a saver, you're building an opportunity fund. You practice daily discipline. You keep paying yourself. And for a lot of folks, if you don't have bad debts and you're not paying a ton of interest out, but you really haven't started saving, this is the first step for to be able to take any other steps. This is crawling, right? Think about your kids. If you have kids, think about when you learned how to walk, right? You didn't just go from crawling and rolling over and just like, fumbling around to, sprinting like Bolt, right? You weren't running a sub 10-second 100. It wasn't instant. You first have to walk or crawl, then you're going to stand up and you're going to walk, and then maybe you're going to jog, and then you're going to run. So as you come out of that tunnel, the visual is stage one is just paying yourself first and doing it consistently and persistently, and then doing it to the best of your ability. If you get off track, it's okay. Some of you reach out and you're worried because you're like, hey, things have changed a little bit. That's why we build it to where it has the manageable floor and the meaningful ceiling. And I can show you that stuff with numbers, but it's just the idea that you're making this much, you're spending this much, this middle part is what you're paying yourself. And the more you increase that, guess what? It's the golden rule. The more cash you have, answer in the chat. Will the opportunities find you? Yes or no? Will the opportunities find you? And I'm going to say, yes, they will. People will, if you have money, people are going to find you and want you to give them your money so they can do the things that they want to do. And if it's a good relationship, something you know, like, and understand, well, that's one of the later stages that we're going to talk about here. If you're new here, smash the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, as Connor Patrick likes to say. It might just turn orange, used to say blue, but it's going to alert you to all the new content. It's going to spread the IBC message. Everyone deserves an invitation to the infinite banking bus. It is an endlessly large bus, and the more people we get on the bus, the better everything is for everyone involved, including the insurance companies. But being that they're the most stable financial, I don't know what you want to call them, business in our country and have been for hundreds of years, why not partner with someone who is there to build and help us build a future worth building? And so now we're going to go to phase two, right? Phase two of this is the wealth builder. This is the recapturing the interest, leaving your family. This is, if you're paying 6 or 7% to Tesla, well, that's 6 or 7% going to someone else's family. And so now, if you've done a debt blaster, if you've just started practicing, all you do is the money that was leaving your family, you take a loan, you pay off the debt, you step over to the other side, and now you're both sides of the relationship because now you're the lender and the borrower, and you are directing that money back to your family, whether it's going back into your segregated account or it's directly getting paid back to the loan to build up the opportunity fund. That is step two. This is handling debt strategically. This is planning for those things that you're going to purchase. This is that 35% raise. When I ask people during our presentation, hey, do you want a 35% raise? And they're always like, yeah, me. Everyone, every single person, unless they're asleep when I'm talking, it's like, I want that, Jason. That's awesome. Let's do it. And then when I show them, oh, well, that's not a big deal. I'm not worried about my vehicle, or I'm not worried about the water filtration system or paying Bank of America. I'll get to it. I'll pay it off. Well, that interest every time that leaves, that is what has to come back to us. So that's phase two. That's stage two. And make a note, where are you on your journey? Are you in the noise still? Have you entered the tunnel? Have you started and come out and saw everything as possible? And now you're stage one. You can pop it in the chat if you want to. Stage two of now recapturing the interest. Stage 2.5, I threw a little half in there, is the money master. This is what I'm working towards. I think this is, I wanted to say I was further along, but I want to say this is where myself, my incredible partner, Patty, this is where we're at. Weekly money meetings, talking about how is money entering and leaving the Sipple family, where it's coming from, how are we adding value? How can we take back that control of a rigged financial system? Now you have clear income. You have clear ways to increase that income. You have goals for your future, for your passive income time. You have things protected. You're planning for other things like long-term care. You have coordinated, intentional moves. This is the phase where you're ready for a black belt. This is where you've been practicing and you have 300 hours of practicing infinite banking. And now you're at stage 2.5. Now you're maybe 4 years into it, 3, 4, 5 years into the journey. You can do it faster. Don't be limited by my time frames. I'm just telling you that if this is a whole life journey, is it going to happen all at once? No. Patience, perseverance, consistency, and action. And a lot of it's going to be boring. A lot of it's not going to be sexy. You're going to be tempted to, how can I get a bigger return on my money? How can I do this? How can I get to that next thing that I want? How do you do it? Through persistent, consistent action. Now, stage 3 is the banker. Now, your policy is making you money. You've hit an efficiency point. You're lending with confidence. You're making a spread like the banks do. In our presentation, the middle where it says the bank, and the bank goes out and makes how much on every dollar that we deposit, that we work for. How much money is the bank making on us? Oh, annually 400 to 1,300%. That is nuts. So now you are the one making the spread. And the more often your money goes out, and a lot of people get confused here as well. That's okay. I get it. I get confused. But people are coming and they're saying, Jason, so I have to take a loan to make money with my banking system? No, you have to pay yourself first and keep doing that to make money with your banking system. And over time, you'll get to this stage where now you're going out and you're finding a way to lend your money to a project, to a thing that you know, like, and understand. And now you're making a spread like the banks do. Now, maybe you're making 12%, but you're paying a simple interest of 5 or 6%. Now you're making a 6-point spread outside. That's money coming back to you. And your money is growing guaranteed at that same percentage. Now that dollar is making 12% for you, right? Are you guys following? Now that dollar is making 12% total for you. But you say, hey, I can make that in an investment. Yes, but you don't have the guaranteed legacy. You don't have the protection. If something happens where you lose an investment, but you've taken a loan from yourself, guess what? Yes, you still owe the simple interest on that loan, but you don't lose all of the growth you had. You don't lose all of the protection. This is why it's an and both strategy. This is the stage where you're at stage 3. You're lending, like I said, with confidence. You're replenishing your system. You have a plan because you have weekly money meetings. You're the CFO of your life at this point. You're a CFO of your life and your business. This is a business. This is the most profitable business any of you could ever run. Stage 4. Now, not everyone is going to get to stage 4. But there are families out there, the Rockefellers, right, with I think their trust is $11 billion when I looked it up, or $10.5 billion according to Forbes, where they are helping 150 Rockefellers live and create their future. But they've done that through education, through systems, through the family office. This is the book, What Would the Rockefellers Do? Great book if you haven't read it. Now you have a family of policies, a family constitution. You have significance to what you're creating for your community, for impact, your legacy building, family banking across generations. Now you have legitimately changed what's going to happen for every generation for decades to come. Because with a family constitution, someone's born, you get a policy. It goes and replenishes itself. And it goes over and over. You've surpassed any traditional financial advice could ever offer. You're now doing what the one percenters are doing. And this is possible for every person listening. And don't rush to it. We still don't have a trust for our policies. We still don't have some of those things in place because I haven't talked to someone who I felt super comfortable yet. And I've talked to people who some of my peers are using. So there's no rush. Yes, would it be great if there was a book and the person and you could just do it all at once one day? But right now, just know as you came out of that tunnel, as you look forward, what was the first rule? Pay yourself first. What's the second rule? Think long term, right? They're reversed there, but in Nelson's book, greatest book ever, right? Well, it's always right next to me. This book, think long term, pay yourself first, or don't be afraid to capitalize. Have a plan to repay your system. Don't steal the peas. Then you have don't take loans from banks. And finally, rethink your thinking. All of these are part of your journey. And if you keep that simple frame, you won't go wrong. Will you make mistakes? Maybe, but they're not going to be ones that leave your family destitute. Again, your dreams are that magnet to that future. That's what Jim Rohn says. I love that. Think of Wile E. Coyote last week being pulled forward by the magnet, you know? And as Joe Dispenza teaches, this is how we break free from that familiar past and the predictable future. If your past has been familiar and your future has been predictable, well, what did we talk about at the beginning? That's the pattern interrupt. So last week we did this exercise. If you weren't here, go check that out. It's a 30-minute exercise and it will give you absolute clarity on where you're going. You'll do something that hardly anyone else does. But I had to bring this full circle and bring it here because this shows you where you're going. What is that 10-year vision, your ultimate vision, where we ask you on the call, where are you going? What would a perfect life look like for you 10 years from now? Who's around you? What are you doing? Write this down, jot it down. Just remind yourself, what's that 3-year picture? A little bit clearer. That strategic vision of where you're going. Who are you becoming? Who have you become? Remember, it's more about who we become on the journey than what we have, what we've done, who we've seen. It's who have we become. That brings us the most joy, the most self-esteem. I don't want you guys to lose sight of that destination. We sprint when we see something new and it's shiny and it's going to solve our problems. We're still conditioned that we want other people to do it for us. But guess what? It's your banking system. Most of you have asked, what is your banking system called? If you don't have a name yet, pick a name. Pick a name. Maybe it's your last name and the Freedom Fund. Whatever is most important to you. Really make it meaningful to you. Again, you guys are the 5%. I want to congratulate you. You are the people that most people won't do this. You're the people that people call crazy. When they say crazy, you're crazy, say thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I have thought for myself. I have done my research. I have dug down the tunnel. I went into the tunnel. I came out the other side. I have clarity. You have clarity for yourself. You have clarity for your family. You have clarity for your future. You've made a commitment. You've exited the noise. You're building wealth, not just with dollars, but with your clarity, your courage, your consistency, your habits. If you ever forget this, just go back and look up Gandhi's quotes again. Beliefs all the way to values. And remember, our words make our world. And just go back and forth and see where am I need work. And we all need work. I need work. But you guys are the example. In the train, teach, test model, the ones that have tested, who are you teaching? The ones that are training, when are you going to test? The ones that are teaching, what's next? How much will you teach? How much will you do? This is to folks that are listening right now that have asked me about how can they be part of this. I said, you're a founding father. You're an original OG. You're someone that's going to help us reach those 10 million. So what does that look like for you? How invested in doing this are you? How meaningful or big do you want this to be? And it can be all of those things. And so for you guys, if you haven't yet, You came in here with questions. Hopefully, you're leaving with clarity. Today, you saw the difference between being stuck in noise in the world that's designed to control us intentionally. Now you're going to build a system, a road forward rooted in peace, rooted in love, intention, legacy. We walk through the 5 stages of becoming your own banker, from saver to infinite banker. And whatever stage you're at is perfect. It's perfect for you. Each step gives you more ownership, more leverage, more alignment with the life that you're truly meant to live. In the vision of the Creator, what is that life that you're truly meant to live? Now that you're not just another person hoping things get better, praying that someday it's going to work out for you, you're going to scratch it off and win all the money, you're part of the 5%, the ones that take action, build systems, lead their families towards freedom. You have what you need to start. And with this system, you'll never be last in line with your money again. And if you are, then just go back and check yourself. So what's next? Book your call if you're ready and have a strategy call where we set your vision and bring it back to your present and get an action step forward. Even if you're not ready today, if it's 6 months, a year from now, but you think you want to do this, have that call. It's worth your time. But whatever you do, don't go back to the noise. You've seen what's possible. You've seen real life examples around you in the chat, myself, my family, my peers. How much proof do you need to know what's true and what's not true? So now I'm challenging you, go build, go build. As always, the choice is clear. Noise or clarity, speculation or guarantees, hoping or knowing. As our Nelson Nash said, once you know what is happening, you will know what to do. Subscribe if you're new, smash the like button, ring the bell to be alerted for more content, helping you learn how you can take back control of your money and become your own banker. Invite others to the Infinite Banking Bus. There's plenty of room, and you're going to be the biggest blessing to that person. If you believe in this, why not invite someone else to check this out? Remember, this is a process, a skill. If you don't know something, I'm giving you permission. You don't know it yet. As always, thank you for giving me your most valuable asset, your time, your focus, your energy. I am blessed. I am here to serve your journey. And I'm going to see you in this next video to talk more about infinite banking and how you can quiet the noise and step into a life of abundance. Until then, God bless.